Hello, everyone. This is Facts and Two Cent. Pamela here.
And this is Petal.
Awesome. So I have my Raisin Future Raisin the Future t-shirt on. Thanks to what's her name? Something Star. I can't pronounce her name. The lady that made the t-shirt. But anyway, thank you for. We might tag you in this.
We'll put that. Yeah, we'll feature
yeah.
her name.
Thank you for the t-shirt. It feels really good. It's soft, really nice. But yeah, so this is Facts and Two Cents, PMP, Pamela and Petal. We're back again on another show. Today's Sunday, and if you didn't know, well, before I even say that, we just want to always reiterate that we are biased and petty, and this is just for our favorites, right? So our favorites are Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, Archie, King of Success, no, King of Montecito, Lilibet, Lily Diana, Queen, Lady, whatever you want to call her, Lady Montecito, Princess of Montecito, the Pula guy, the chickens, and Mama Doria.
That's right.
All of them are under the umbrella of our protection, and we are petty and biased for them. Or is it for them? Or yeah, right? For them? Or yeah, whatever the English.
In other words, don't come for them, or we'll come for them. We'll come for you.
Come for you. That's it. Well, we haven't sent for you, so don't come for us because we are in our lane and doing our thing. So if you come for us, then we will respond. But anyways, yeah. So we are here today to talk about so many things. But before we get into it, today on NPR, Duchess Meghan had was interviewed. Well, it wasn't even like an interview. I think she was just posed a question, and she was just interacting with Christian Robinson. That was the whole.
That or they had the interview and just cut the interviewer out.
Questions out, yeah.
They could have just edited that part out and just left their response to it because it seemed like there was someone else there
moderating it.
Yes.
And it was like almost 10 minutes, or a little bit over 10 minutes.
8 minutes and something, yeah.
Well, I went to 10 minutes because I was monitoring. It says 8 minutes on it, but it goes to like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And where she really explained her reason behind the book, this is what we're going to talk about. So should we dive right into it?
We should. And first and foremost, before we even get there, happy Father's Day.
Yes.
Happy Father's Day, our fave Prince Harry. He's now a girl dad.
Exactly. Father of two. Man, I thought we were going to get a picture, like just the way like Archie's fingers were shown, or remember when Archie was born, just a little finger. Well, his toes was a Mother's Day with Meghan,
that's right, yeah.
And then his finger with Harry on Father's Day. So I was hoping to see little Lilibet with fingers or something, but I'm still good with that scene, and I think it's great. Let's starve the media for that. Like, we will survive. We don't even need to show anything. We know they're good, and that's all that matters. So
that is all that matters. Yep.
So happy Father's Day to every father out there, all the fathers out there, those who have biological kids, those who are foster parents, those who are grandfathers, those men in the communities that are really, protecting the communities and looking out for other people's kids. Happy Father's Day to you all.
Yes.
So let's get into it. So the bench, what was your take?
Oh my goodness. I think there is something about the simplicity of the bench that it just warms my heart. I think it's just the words, and then how Christian's illustration.
Yeah.
That just really the one that really, it's sort of like, Meghan said, like, to my boys who made my heart go pump up. Yes. When I saw the father in the wheelchair, oh my goodness. And then the Sikh father with the son celebrating his, whatever little championship he won or whatever,
right,
the trophy.
Right. Yeah,
those were so beautiful, and of course Archie and Harry at the end with their chickens and the dogs.
Well, they were the first and the end, right? They were the very first and the very end as well. So they started and then they ended it, right?
Yeah.
So what actually stood out to me as well was come to my knowledge, the military guy was not actually Harry. It was Mr. Strange. I think his
Right.
name is Sergeant Strange. I think Sergeant. Yeah, Sergeant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how,
Texas.
you know what? Just let me just like talk about Megan's memory here. Like she has like impeccable memory. Like she remembers everything. This is to say that all those things that were done to her.
She remembers.
She remembers. She remembers. And she is so truthful. She speaks the truth. She doesn't forget. She will let you know. So I'm like, this woman has the perfect memory. Right. And she went to this tour like what, 2011?
I think 2016 or something.
Oh, 2016? No,
something like that.
But she went
because
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think she remembers things because she thinks deeply about things. And when things are not just surface, when you have invested time into things or invested time into someone and really listen and get, that their story becomes a part of you, you don't forget those things. And I think that's why it's not just so much that she is just, packing her brains with things and just, okay, let me memorize things. It's because she thinks deeply about them. And so they make an impact in her life. And so they stay with her.
Right. And like she's also said that she really does things that she's passionate about, right? Before she puts her name to something, she wants to make sure that she's thoroughly researched and like really pours herself into everything she does. And in one of her shows, like one of her interviews a while ago, she says it can be overwhelming because she really takes it on when she's passionate about a project, but it's also rewarding because she does everything she needs to do to make sure it succeeds. So I can see how that translates into when she remembers, she gets it. And so that soldier and his son, true to form, is what it seems like what might have happened. Like I said, she did say that, right? And how I was just like, that's amazing. And I hope Mr. Sergeant Strange, I hope that's his name, right? Sergeant Strange.
Yeah.
That he finds it and realizes that he and his son are like depicted in this bestseller book, New York's bestseller. Like, by the way, Meghan Markle is a New York bestseller author, whether you like it or not. Number one, whether you like it or not, right?
Yes, so number one picture book.
It doesn't matter if she's on it for a week or two and she's off, she's still number one best-selling author. Bestseller.
Exactly. So, and I love the representation.
Eat your hearts out.
Yeah, I love the representation because today I was online after the NPR interview, and there is a Sikh organization that saw it and they tweeted about it. And and I tweeted them and it was like, because they were saying, there's a picture in the Duchess of Sussex book and the father has a turban and everything. And on the bottom, and I will put this up as well. Yeah. And on the bottom, it says representation matters.
It does.
And here it is, this one little page with just like a couple of lines, about encouraging. And the father is there, with his turban and everything. And just one page, the Sikh organization saw it and they felt seen.
Yeah.
And it was just like the simplest things. And I think that's what I love about the book. The poem is so simple. With the, especially with I love the one with the dad, the African-American dad or black dad.
Yeah.
And just laying on the bench, the son has a little giraffe and holding onto his hand and they're just chilling on the bench. And it's just like, it's just such a beautiful thing, or the dad and the son is crying by the bus, the school bus. He probably doesn't want to go on the bus.
Yeah.
Those simple moments,
And the one of the tutu, both the dad and the son had a tutu on to do the stretching or whatever. And it's like, it is part of the whole society. I think some form of representation was depicted in this book, which I think is amazing. And listening to her, and she says it's a love story. It's a love story, right? It's a love story, which originally was from her husband, and their son. But hoping that everybody can see that love story, other families and kids can relate to that, is just knowing that you're dead. And I think what also stood out to me about how she knew of Christian Robinson and she's followed him. So she wanted to challenge him a little bit to do something different, and how he took the challenge
Yes.
and that vision came to fruition, and it's like amazing. The water paint,
the watercolors, yes.
watercolors was like great, and it's actually, and she wanted to bring some softness to masculinity, where when we think about masculinity, we always think of this aggression or toughness, right? And she wanted to, yes, that's true, but also presented it like it's not always communicated. There's always a softer side to that as well, and presenting that. So I really like that depiction.
And she drew from just the gentleness of Archie and Harry's relationship.
Yeah.
And I could see it. Archie, Harry, yes, he's like, a soldier and all of that, but there's such a gentle side to him that you could see, even though we haven't seen like a lot of videos of them, but you can tell that relationship with Archie is just so gentle and so precious.
Well, even look at when they went to South Africa and Meghan was being interviewed separately about I don't know who was interviewing her, but they were talking about how she said it wasn't lost on them that they brought Archie here to meet Desmond Tutu.
Desmond Tutu, yes.
Yeah. And Harry was standing behind and was holding Archie, and it was just like Archie, I think, was waking up, was feeling sleepy. So just the way he was, cradling Archie, you can see that Harry was just happy and content and proud father, and his protection was on high. It's like, yeah, but it's a great, and I can't wait to see that relationship flourish, to see how they grow up together. Like Archie grows up, and like the things that Meghan laid out, that he's when he gets heartbroken, that they'll come back to that bench. If they have qualms, they'll come back to that bench. If there's difficulty in life, they'll come back to that bench. That is the place where they settle things, and they remind themselves of their bond, and their relationship. That's so significant. It doesn't have to be that same bench, but they can find any bench wherever they are, and when they're together, they can connect, and they can reassure themselves of their love. So I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing about The Bench. It is such a simple poem. It's like the simplest poem in the whole world, and yet it's so deep, and you can get so many things. Even just the little nugget she gave us with, I didn't think about that, with all the benches from all the different vignettes that's on the back and the front, and kids go in, little kids could try to find which bench matches with which bench in the story, and they can find their bench, and it was just like this tiny little story,
little nuggets that she has,
these wonderful things. And King Archie loves the story.
Yeah, that was the best. Like, Archie loves to read. I'm like, who are you telling? He kept dragging that book when he was a year old. It's like, can you pick this up? Like, I'm not surprised. He says, "Hi." I was wearing my Hydrate Drive Safe T-shirt yesterday.
Yeah.
And I went to Trader Joe's, and the guy that was packing my grocery, when I was there, he's like, "Yeah, drive safe." And I was like, "Oh, thank you."
Saying the same thing.
I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that was so sweet." And he's like, "Oh, Hydrate, drive safe," and I was like, "Yeah, thank you." Actually,
he knows the reference, like where it came from. Probably not, but you never know.
He probably heard his parents say, "You better hydrate. You're dehydrated. Don't be dehydrated. Bring something and drive safe." Maybe one of them said something, and he picked it up, and that's it. Drive safe. Look at him.
But it's just so great that Archie, and it was so cute to hear when I think one of the things I love too about the interview is her and Christian bouncing off of each other, and she was like, "Yeah, I didn't even tell you this." And he's like, when he found out that Archie liked the story, he was so excited.
He was really excited. Yeah. That's so great. So The Bench is like number one, and it's still number one as far as we know, and it will continue to be number one as long as the people want it there. So that's
it. And pointing out, Meghan did no promo for this.
No.
There was no interview. There was no photos. There was nothing.
No. It was just on the on Ashwell, and that was it.
That was it. That was 2 weeks before the book came out. That was there, and nothing as the book just dropped. And I have to say, congratulations to Sussex Squad.
Yes,
because we
congratulations.
Promoted the crap out of this book. We promoted and promoted and tweeted and retweeted, and I mean, we were like,
and bought book drives. I think it was a total of 300 and something books that, aside from, that was the ones that were donated through the Bluebird cage.
Books of Bluebird, yes.
Books of Bluebird. And aside from those, there were other people who bought from Amazon, right? Because I did both. And then I had the Audible too, because I was like, I have credit on Audible, so I wasn't trying to use, the Bluebird.
Right, yeah.
I used my Audible credits to buy Audible, her book as well. So all that said, and it was just not the US, it was global.
Exactly. I'm telling you, Sussex Squad, congratulations. We should have a promotion, a PR marketing, Sussex Squad PR marketing agency, because Sussex Squad really promoted, in spite of all the horrible things that came out of Salt Island, or as I call it, Shutter Island. The inmates on Shutter Island, in spite of all their horrible reviews.
The inmates on Shutter Island.
Shutter Island. It's Shutter Island. They're inmates on Shutter Island. That's what I refer to them as.
That's a good one.
They're crazy. What else did you think about them? But anyway, in spite of all the hostility towards the book, the negative reviews, the panning it, the mocking it, they even did this whole animated parody of it. I mean, they did all. It was so childish, petty, despicable, as usual, the British presses. And in spite of all of those things, and like, oh, it flopped, it bombed, it whatever. Here it is, number one on the New York Times. Nobody in the royal family has ever done this. And this is the second time Meghan is made the New York Times bestseller list. She did it with Together Cookbook, and now here she is again.
Yeah. And even the Vogue, British Vogue was also, I mean, she didn't, create, but she featured in it. She did what is it? What did she do in the British Vogue?
She guest edited.
She guest edited it.
The bestseller.
The bestseller since
and won awards
forever.
And all those things. Yeah.
And then her clothing for her.
Exactly.
What I can't think today.
SmartWorks
sold out completely.
Yeah.
Like everything she touches.
Almost a year. I think it dressed people for like a year. Yeah.
The bag sold out right when it was dropped. That brown bag. I think you bought that bag.
I have a bag, yes. Yeah. I couldn't even get the one I wanted. I wanted the brown one, and that was gone.
It was gone. It was gone. It's like that's when it dropped, it was gone. Yeah, right before she went to make that speech and at SmartWorks, the bag was gone.
That was gone. Yeah.
So
anything Meghan touches, just like.
Yeah, and I think it's because she's deliberate, right? She deliberately thinks about what she knows that she can impact and make a difference, and she doesn't go in to say, let me be number one. She just goes in to give her heart and give her all, and people see the authenticity about that and like blown away, because she just wants people to win. She's never really doing it for herself. She's not just pasting her name on a book like some other person did, and then try to put the books all over like a Easter egg all over the place. She's not doing that.
She took a camera.
Yeah, you are videotaping when you're putting the book, and then people are going to see it, and then it's just like, where is, but anyways, God bless her. So Meghan is not doing that. She's really, really doing the work, right? She's putting in the hard work to get things done, and that's how she was brought up. Do the work and make sure that when you're doing it for others, that there's an impact, and she does that really well. So kudos to our Duchess, our Countess, our Baroness, our Princess. Those are all her titles. Our queen. All her titles.
And finally, she even donated 2,000 copies to different organizations, and we'll talk about one of them when we do charity. But she donated to libraries and all these different organizations so that she worked with her publisher to be able to do that. And so it's amazing.
Yeah, of course the publisher's like, look at how many sales she made. She's like, yeah, what, you want 5,000? We'll give you 5,000.
Exactly.
She's like, sold so many books, the publisher's probably thinking, oh, awesome. Whatever you want, we
Yeah.
got you. So yeah, so that's the bench. It's like really, 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 really. I'm so proud of it. I have my
Me too.
copy
Yeah.
somewhere here. Where's my copy? Do you have your copy?
I have my let me get my copy. But I just make a confession? I have the online version. I have the physical version, and I have also the audible version.
Oh, okay.
And so I bought the physical version to give it to a child, and I'm like, do I have to give it away?
Oh, see, I bought 5 copies. I donated.
Wanting to give it away.
Actually, no. I bought several copies, and then the ones that I bought from no, the Bluebird or whatever, they sent me. I bought 3 copies.
Bluebird, yeah.
Books of Bluebird. I bought several copies from them, right? And then they donated some to charities, and 3 came to me. And then Amazon sent me 2. So I kept 1, and I took the rest to my local library, and then donated to them. But I kept 1 for a souvenir. I was like, no, I need to keep 1.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do, because I'm like, I only have this one physical one, and I'm like, every time I look at it, I'm like, am I a terrible person that I don't want to give it away?
No, I gave a lot away, so I'm like, I'm keeping it. Because
I donated as well.
Oh,
the only reason I bought one and donated, but this one that I have, I bought it from Books at Bluebird before we did the book drive. And I tried to get it to send, to tell them to change it, to send it to one of the organizations.
Yeah.
And apparently, when you purchase it, whatever the address is, they cannot change it. So they said, well, we're going to have to send it to you, and then you could send it to the organization.
Right. Because before you actually, you're supposed to put the address that you wanted it to go.
Exactly. But I purchased it before we started the book drive, and they couldn't change it. So that's the only reason I ended up with it. And now I'm like, but I don't want to give it away.
Oh, you can keep it. I think it's.
I'm just gonna have to give it away and buy another one.
Well,
when I get keep another one, I'll give this away.
Or you can keep it and buy another one for somebody else. It's the same thing. It's the same,
That's it. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah. So anything else on the bench before we move on to the next?
I took it to the park with me the other day so that I can take a copy to take a picture of it. So here's my copy of the bench.
Yeah. It's really great. And like Megan's voice is so soothing when you listen to the audible.
On the audible, yeah.
And it's the way her intonations and when she knows, like when she talks about art, you can see the sentiment and the feeling when she look, our boy, our son or our boy, and our kid. It's just like, oh my God.
And last thing on that is just, I love the fact that Megan is so much more interested in people hearing her voice than it is people look, because a lot of times you see her and then it becomes about what she's wearing, or something like that, or how she looks, whatever. And I love the fact that she, instead of doing like an on-camera interview, she did NPR.
Right. And it's an interesting pick because NPR is the liberal station. It's a very liberal radio station. So
but their programming is so soothing compared to sometimes the vitriol and all of that, or the nature of the others. It's like you learn so much just from listening to them. It's like it sort of cuts away the noise of even like of advertising and all those things. It just cuts away and I love the fact that she is going and she's choosing all these different mediums, and I'm sure that's probably the most viewing or the most listening NPR has had in a while.
I know. Yeah, they were like, they actually created an international link because they knew there was going to be international. Exactly. It was like, for our international, our new followers, international, please use this link. Yeah. I'm like,
they even asked, like, where are you listening from?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, NPR. I love NPR though. But also, she did tape this before she had Lily. Right.
Yeah,
so
before she delivered Lily.
Lily. So that's why Lily was not even mentioned in that.
Like, I was
Lily, don't worry. You have your own book. We will work on that, Lily. Don't worry. So all right. So speaking of Lily, the whole saga on Lily's name, Lilibet, the fallout on that name, it's just deplorable. It's pathetic. It's like immature. It's like, who are these people? It's a baby. How evil can you be that you are willing to go on social media where everything you say stays, Like seriously. And then you will attack a day old baby or two, actually was a day or two at that point or whatever, a couple of days old baby. The thing was 2 days when they announced it, right? And
right. And then basically the vitriol started when she was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah. And
that when, well, I think, again, I think it goes right back to the royal family. Because, at first there was all these, did they ask the queen? Did they ask the queen? Did they ask the queen? You know what I mean? Did they ask permission and all of those things? And then, that's when BBC came out with Meghan and Harry did not ask the queen.
Right.
And they quoted some source within the royal family or within the royal household, I should say, that Meghan and Harry did not ask the queen permission. And obviously Meghan and Harry fired back because it is the BBC, BBC who, just a few weeks ago, everybody was condemning because of what they did with Martin Bashir. They were the,
we should actually put in NBC's Al Roker talked about that during the third hour.
Yes, I love what they did. They're like, boo,
boo,
really boo.
Boo
to the royal family that they not only did, supposedly a palace source go to the BBC because they tried to filter this same narrative to like the Sun and the Daily Mail a few days earlier and didn't go anywhere. For the fact that they went to the BBC, someone from within the household, to complain like, oh no, they didn't ask the Queen's permission.
After you guys went against BBC a few weeks ago that they were completely out of line and the way they
were unethical,
Diana unethical. Now you will go to BBC. They're no longer unethical now. They're like a great source of place to go to because it's the Black woman.
Oh, of course. Just the idea that even if that was true, that Harry did not ask the Queen, even if, why would you feel like it is in your best interest? If nothing else, why would you feel like it is in your best interest to put that out there in the press against a few-day-old baby?
Right.
How stupid and disgusting do you have to be? And the sad part of this is, this in the press and a lot of British people, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to attack new parents of a few-day-old baby.
And yet they talk about mental wellness and mental health. That's, it's like such contradictory scenario. Well, I don't even know. Very contradicting to what they stand for. It's like you can't claim like heads lead or heads together, whatever they have going there, and then you allow someone who just had a baby, her hormones are still not settled down yet, and and you're gonna attack her and her baby, and you think it's okay, and Charles or William or Betty couldn't say, stop this. This is ridiculous. This is
nothing.
You know what?
They have said nothing.
Nothing.
They would not be drawn into this. And I'm like, because they didn't say anything. What did those in the British press? Well, and this was the narrative. The Queen agrees with BBC. So basically they've cast Harry and Meghan as liars.
Yeah.
And then when Harry and Meghan's lawyers hit back, they attack Harry. How dare he? How could he bring in his lawyers?
Yeah. These people are really, they're bullies. Like they're bullies without any sense of
narcissistic.
Yeah. They have no sense of reality. And it's kind of like, it's such a white supremacy privilege sort of thinking, I need to hurt you and you shouldn't say anything. And if you fight back, how dare you? Because you should just take my abuse, right?
Yeah, don't fight back. Abuse people with impunity. That's
impunity. Yeah, abuse with impunity. Don't fight back. Don't say anything. When you do, how dare you? I mean, there was this show, and I try not to watch them, but it came on my feed, and this lady, I think she was on with another. What is this Black lady from? She actually lives in the U.S. now. Something Goddard. So anyway, they were on the show and how this other white lady was going in and how Harry is as embarrassing, and even what she actually did right now with this whole thing is going to affect all and bring down his status with the mental wellness community. And Goddard had to step in and be like, no, 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 don't even do that. That's not even right. Like the things that comes out of people's mouth is like they don't even they're not sensitized to reality. They're not sensitized to
No.
humanity. They're not sensitized to the plight of people and what people are saying. They're so oblivion that it's not even redeemable. It feels like they're not redeemable. You cannot be this oblivion to reality. You just cannot.
I think with those television, especially if say GMB and Good Morning, that is all tabloid journalism. These people have zero common sense. There is zero journalistic integrity.
At least there are their radar.
I'm not saying across the board that they're all like this, but the majority of what that is broadcast or publicized.
Yeah.
These are people with zero journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
A lot of them are so-called royal experts and all of these nonsense, which we know they're experts in nothing. What they are royal sycophants. That's it. With the tabloid press.
Yeah.
And so what we get is the tabloid mentality, the tabloid version, the tabloid narrative of things that people just sort of soak in and just take as, because we're coming from a place where we are coming from American journalism, where there are actual journalists with integrity.
Yeah.
These people have none whatsoever. None.
I make me wonder how
integrity.
How, you know what? I think it always boils down to the fact that they only have one source of, Rupert Murdoch is the one that runs their whole, pretty much.
Yeah, the majority. Rupert Murdoch and Lord Rothermere, they basically
run the majority. Own the media.
Like even,
And they're both conservative.
Say, well, the Times is not a tabloid. I'm like, and I try to tell people, no.
I'm like, have you read the Times?
It's a Rupert Murdoch glorified tabloid. It's the same. It's the same person that owns the Times. It's the same one that owns the Sun. It's the same. I mean, it's the same. They're the same people.
The people in the UK, maybe not all UK, but maybe in England. I don't know if the whole UK. I don't think if Ireland and Scotland are listening to all of that. I don't think so. I think they probably have their own different.
They have like the Mail and the Sun have Scottish versions. They have Irish versions.
Right. Oh Lord. But it feels like the whole country is held captive by these tabloids.
Yep.
And they have no other outlets to verify anything, and they don't even make the effort to Google something that will help. It's like it's the Mail says this, that's it, that is final, right? And they believe it. And so these people are manipulated by this so-called news organization, and it's just full of lies. And so if people are feeding you all this, if the news station is feeding you all these lies and continuous lies, and you believe it for so long, I think you've lost your integrity. That it hurts you to even start to even doubt it, because then you begin to realize how much you have lost integrity, and so it's easy for you to stay in that place and keep getting, you know what I mean? Because when reality hits and you realize, oh my God, I've been bamboozled. That is way too much for them to take them to, so they just give in to it. It's like, no, this is what we have. That's what it's going to be. It's like they want to make money off of you. They don't love you, but they want to torment you. And the more they torment you, the more they make money. And because Harry and Meghan have like, no, we are not going to settle for this, that just pisses them off. It's just so mad. It's like, what do you mean you can't take my abuse? I have declared an abuse, a campaign on you, a smear campaign to abuse you, and you had the audacity to fight me back? No, you should take it. Even if it's death, you should take it.
Right. Well, and I think too is, it's when I keep saying that, people, they like to say, oh, Meghan is narcissistic. She's this, she's controlling, whatever. That is exactly who the royal family and members and the reporters in the British press are.
Yeah.
It's narcissism. it's what it's like leaving a narcissistic family or narcissistic relationships is what they do. The exact things that they are doing right now, where they're claiming Meghan is, controlling and Meghan is narcissistic. Those pattern fits exactly the royal family.
Yeah,
like they literally tick every box of the royal family and the British pride. And it's sick. And I think, again, for me, it goes back to the royal family, because this whole thing, they could clear this up in 1 minute.
Right.
They could clear this up in 1 minute and say, you know what? Either say no and put out an official statement and say, no, Prince Harry did not seek request for me. He didn't seek permission. He just told me that's what he's going to do. They could do that.
Yeah.
Or they can say, yes, he did. They can do that. But what they do is they leave it. We don't want to talk about it. And when you do that, then it leaves all these room for speculation. And this is tabloid territory. Tabloids don't tell you the truth about anything.
No. And that's what exactly
give you
what.
Hints,
yeah, they
so
give you hints.
You can go and speculate for the rest of your life, and that is what brings them money. And that is what the royal family plays into. That's why you have not seen one official word from the royal family about the situation. None.
But they're willing to yank Kate's the Telegraph. Is it a Telegraph or the Times with something about Kate and Lotus, Dr. Jill Biden? But they're willing to yank that up. Just the slightest misrepresentation of her, that was yanked out, right?
Within 3 hours, that story was gone.
So Meghan was right. How the slightest thing, the little thing, they're willing to stand up for somebody, but not for them. When she made that statement, it's so true. It's like, so Kate is working with Dr. Jill Biden to the point where people, they really took that whole thing down. But a baby who is being,
targeted and
just, God, she's going to remember this when she grows up and goes to Google and search that she's going to see this. She's not going to remember, but she's going to see this when she grows up. You can't even think of, Nami, this is my granddaughter. This is my great granddaughter. This is not. Like, what kind of human beings are these people? Like, you don't even feel that this is my relative. This is my baby. Let me just say something. I don't care if I lose some kind of credibility. I'm just going to say, like, listen, back off. This is a baby. You know what I mean? This is a family thing. They did ask for the name. Even if they didn't ask, stand up for them. Just say, listen, this is family.
You had to say no. They didn't. Whatever. The point is, say something. It is unacceptable to me. And I saw someone tweeted about this, I think today, that government officials and people in that kind of roles, there should never, ever, ever be a sources said when it has to do with them. You should never accept sources. If they need to come out and put their name, either say it on camera or put their name to it.
Right.
The sources said about these people should never be accepted.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because this kind of thing, the fact that they, like you said, the fact that they allow this to go on where they are abusing new parents and abusing a baby, where you have columnists literally writing that Harry is disrespected his grandmother, that they stole Queen Betty's name, that stealing it, that means it's elderly. They literally were accusing Meghan and Harry of elderly abuse for using her name. I mean, this is disgusting. Richard K, Kensington Palace and Prince Charles's mouthpiece, then decides it's like, Queen Betty is basically senile. She couldn't possibly have heard correctly.
Insinuated that,
because
but here's the thing, though.
All the way in California, and if he speaks he speaks, really fast.
He can't hear over the phone.
I know, because Lilibet and Elizabeth could really sound close, and she's 95, so therefore she couldn't possibly have heard correctly if he said one or the other, and she probably thought he meant Elizabeth, but he said Lilibet, so maybe that's where the confusion. And I'm like,
but here is Charles, who would not defend his grandchild, but will reference his grandchild as a way to get, to use during his speech. Like, oh, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like you're such a user. You are just you don't even have the sentiment of what a father's like. I mean, that's obvious. He doesn't even understand that notion. He obviously the kids, those two boys were taken care of by their grandmother, which is why I think Harry is close to his grandmother. I don't think Charles had anything to do with the upbringing. He had nothing to do with
nannies.
it.
That's why, they're really nannies raise them.
Yeah, nanny raised them. Yeah,
are the ones that discipline them, or
yeah,
instead of being a father, he hired
yeah.
them, a private secretary to
And
take
then
care
he
of things
thinks
that he
that,
doesn't want to take
doing
care of.
all this environmental things, man, like, yeah, it might matter, but your legacy, you ruined your legacy. Your two boys are the people that should be a priority. You should have invested
Never
time in
worked.
them. Never worked. Never did.
Never worked.
Never did. Never did. Never did. And so now they feel like the queen is talk about the queen and the cutting of that cake with the sword. That was hilarious. So that
It
actually
was hilarious. I have
yeah.
to say that was kind of cute and hilarious. That she's like, somebody's like, "There's a knife." She's like, "I know
that."
More,
And she said, "I heard you, and I know that is there." And she
but
said, "I want to use the sword."
I want to use the sword.
Sword. So that just like just strikes out that Richard K's whole comment that she doesn't hear. She heard the lady all right and knew exactly what's going on. She is perfectly up there. She's not lost anything. She's not seen out. She is
not.
perfect. And so that's a good thing and a bad thing. That means that she knows what's going on and she's not trying to do anything about it. And she definitely heard Harry and she knew that, Lilibet was the name. So
and
that's not
the thing. That's the thing where I love Harry and Meghan and and again, I'm not family. And they always, they want to believe the best and whatever. But I'm like, look, this woman, she knows the truth. She knows what happened. She knows what she can say something.
Yeah.
And the fact that she chooses not to say something, and I know she's 95 years old and you want to give old people, I was raised with my grandmother. So I understand the feeling of wanting to protect her and not wanting to, but she is not an innocent little lamb in all of this.
No,
she's
not this ruling for decades.
No, she is like a prime family boss.
Yeah.
It's what she is.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes, this is my 2 cents. I feel like sometimes she plays the old lady just to get away with this. Do you see what I'm saying?
She does, and that's why I'm saying this. That is exactly why I'm saying this. She has learned how to keep her mouth shut. There's so much
going on, and I don't want. She knows exactly.
She knows what is going on. She's a master
manipulator. She knows exactly what's going on.
She knows. And I keep saying this with her. I'm telling you, Pam, I have watched the pattern with Queen Elizabeth. And whenever you hear this person is Queen Elizabeth's favorite, or, for example, how they always say like Prince Andrew is her favorite. And then she has this beautiful special relationship with Prince Harry. And now it's Sophie and Edward. She has this great relation. You know what is the thread that runs through all of these? They are the spares.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
There is a contract, basically. You're going to be my favorite, but I get to use you, and you are who I'm going to sell to the press. Because all of these people are the spares, meaning which is such a vile term that a whole country has bought into, meaning your life is going to be sold to the press to make the heirs look good.
Yeah. Which
is exactly now that Harry and Meghan are gone, which is exactly now it's Sophie and Edward. Oh, they have such a great relationship. I'm like, I even saw a video of Kate and William trying to curtsy to her and whatever, and she was totally ignore them and is all focused on Sophie. And that clicked for me. I was like, yeah, those are her new spares.
Right.
Those are the ones who don't be surprised when you start hearing negative things about them and positive things about the Cambridges.
Negative person probably like, "Ooh, yeah, we in love."
But it's kind of like it's what she does. I'm sorry. It's kind of like if I'm destroying your life in the press, But if I could shower you with love and have the narrative of you, my favorite, that I'm showering with love, then it wouldn't make me look like the monster that I am actually. I saw this thing the other day with her, before Harry married Meghan. They were going to Ascot. Ascot is the horse racing thing.
Yeah.
And they had noted how,
Harry
and the
had the
press
most...
was like, oh my goodness, what a wonderful thing. Harry and Prince Andrew, they had the honor that Kate and William didn't even have, of riding in the first car with the Queen and Prince Prince Philip. They had the honor of riding in the first car with the Queen and Prince Philip, something that even Prince William and Kate has never had to. How special it is. And you're thinking, it's like, yeah, that's what they do. They present to the world, look, the Queen loves them. They are the precious ones to the Queen.
Carry your new targets. They're the new targets on the silver platter. Go for it.
Those are the ones they have sold to the press to destroy their lives, to make the heirs look good.
That is sad.
It's the same pattern that they're repeating. It's the same pattern. You know? Andrew is the court jester for Charles, the idiot one, the one that they called an idiot. And the same pattern. Harry. Oh, the Queen loves Harry. Harry is her favorite. Yet Harry is the one that they destroyed and sold to the press. He was like, he is the dumb one, the one that's stupid, the one that's a drunk, the one that's party boy Harry. And William, the good one.
Because William was partying right next to Harry, but Harry took every fall for William.
Exactly. And that's why Harry and William, no matter what they say now, we'll do that another time, the bullying stuff. But it's the same thing. Harry started to be like, no, I don't want my life to be like that.
Yeah.
And
I will be a third wheel. I'm not going to be taking it on. Yeah. You commit the crime, you own up to it. I'm not. She shielded William all these years. William, that whole Nazi T-shirt that we said, William had something similar. Something, was also was all
African,
in there.
African
attire. And so, but then they never showed that. They never showed Williams. They only showed Harry's. And that's like, how do you expect him to react? It's kind of like, come on. So,
William was there when Harry bought the costume. They didn't say a word.
They didn't say anything. And if William thought it was bad, why didn't he just tell his brother to stop?
Exactly. He was the older one.
The older one, supposed to be the smart one.
One of the other things that was happening with this is the reporters had this lie going on about, Lilibet's name. They have made this thing into this sacred thing that nobody other than the Queen's father and grandfather.
They all call Elizabeth.
And only Prince Philip
called her Lilibet.
Beautiful pet name for her. And so therefore it's this holy and righteous name that nobody else. Lies. Lies. Her grandfather or father named a horse Lilibet after her in 1931. A horse named Lilibet after her. They had this thing that only the family,
Listen, I heard somebody say somewhere that we can bet that Elizabeth is not the only person called Lilibet in the UK.
No,
there are people called Lilibet all over. So it is not a sacred name, right? And it's like
Princess Diana used to call her Auntie Lilibet before she married, because they're all aristos. They knew each other before they're married, obviously. Princess Diana used to call her Auntie Lilibet. After when Prince Philip died, Prince Philippe of the King of Spain wrote a letter to Prince Elizabeth addressing her as Dear Aunt Lilibet.
Yeah.
So it's not just immediate family member that calls it. There was a horse. Nobody is complaining that a horse, an animal, a beast was
it's called Lilibet. But your great-grandchild called Lilibet. It's a whole Third World War.
Of course. Because why?
The black
that
woman.
little one has black blood in her. They can deal with an animal.
Yeah. A horse.
But God forbid, where you have black blood in you and you associated with the Queen.
Yeah.
And that is the whole issue.
I think they're just all pissed that Harry got that that name that her grandmother is referred to and named his child. That William didn't think about it. Zara didn't think about it. Eugenie didn't think about it. No one in the family thought about it. And Harry thought about it. Again, take it, with a grain of salt, or believe it or not, it just shows Harry's closeness to his grandmother, that he really just wanted to, just
they want to sever that. They don't want them having that.
Yeah, he wanted to keep that name alive, and and if you wanted to, why didn't you name your kid Lilibet?
Exactly.
You didn't, and the name was available, and now that he's called his daughter that. That's a World War III. You're all mad and angry because you're not smart enough, and then not creative enough. Oh, you know how many Elizabeths are in that family? Like, Anne's called Elizabeth, I think. Charlotte is Elizabeth. There is one of Zara's daughters called Elizabeth, middle name. There's so many Elizabeths in there. How come nobody complained about that?
Nobody complained. I'm telling you, they could say, "Oh, we're not racist," all they want. But they are racist in the family for the fact that this whole family could sit there and allow the press to be attacking new parents and attacking days old baby while Katie Keene is doing, unveiling a center of whatever.
Wait, did you see her with childhood? Did you see her with Dr. Jill Biden? And she could
so embarrassing.
I was like, oh my God, don't you have people to prep you?
Well,
is it because she
can? It goes back for me to what I was saying about Meghan. How Meghan thinks about things deeply. She's really invested in the things. That's why she remembers, because she's invested in whatever it is she's doing.
Right.
Kate is not.
She couldn't even just speak. She had to look at a little piece of paper. Like, what are you looking at? You've been doing this for 10 years, you said.
Oh, supposedly.
Supposedly. So why can't you just speak from the heart? What have you done so far that you can't? It's like, why do you need a piece of paper for reference? Like, it's even what she was referencing doesn't even make sense. Like, what she's looking down and saying doesn't need to be looked down. She didn't need to look down. You know what I mean? Like, this has been going on for X amount of years. We're really grateful. Our whole goal is to help children because we believe that during infancy is the first 5 years is very important for a kid's life. I don't even know that, but I can say this in 5 minutes.
And I think what was so poignant in that whole thing was when they're like, okay, we're wrapping up, and Dr. Biden was like,
what?
She's
really?
Like,
I have all these questions.
And she's like, well, the first thing is that I'm sorry, it's so short. They
didn't even see the shade in that.
They totally wasted her time.
Yeah.
They wasted her time to this thing. And that really highlights how she is there to work. She's there to understand the organization. She's there. She has questions about it because she is deeply invested in early years. Kate is not. This is just for show.
It's a photo op for Kate. And they missed an opportunity to really dig into Dr. Jill Biden's knowledge. She's an educator with a PhD.
Exactly.
If Kate was smart and her team was smart, even if she wasn't, if her team was smart, they would have here are some questions to ask her, and so that way we can implement it. So it's like, it doesn't have to be a whole lengthy thing. Just come with some 2-3 questions to be able to get in, so that way you can ask questions. And even if you can't take the notes, it's on record, it's on video. You can rewatch it, right? Your staff can make notes and then implement that. Like, why is that so difficult?
Well, that's the thing. The goal there wasn't for her to learn. The goal there was to make her look good on a world stage, to make her into this whatever. For some strange reason, they had the notion that Kate is on the level of Dr. Biden.
Oh
no.
No, the devil is a liar.
Who has a PhD.
Oh, no.
They assume this woman is on the level of Dr. Biden. So she didn't go there to learn. They just put her there to look good. And then she ended up, that's why nobody is talking after this. They would not post the videos, nothing. They sort of gloss over it and run away.
No, it can't
Nobody would post because it's clear on a world stage. The whole royal family, really, other than the queen and her sword, The whole royal family pretty much blended into the background, because if this is supposed to be the best that you can offer, and then few hours later, even the reporters look like they just rather not even deal with it, or not even, you know you have a problem.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I was just like,
that was like, I have no interest in Kate Middleton whatsoever, but I was embarrassed for her. And the idea that this woman.
Can you hear?
What is it?
The devil is a liar. I'm just playing the music for them.
Yeah, and I think my final thing on that is just the fact that she is supposed to be pushing an initiative for in support of early education or early childcare. Yet they sit there, say nothing, and allow their press and their right-wing nutcases in England to abuse two parents who just have a child and a woman who is days that just gave birth.
Yeah. I know it's cold in England. It's not as cold, but I know it's cold, but you can't be that cold-hearted. They're so cold-hearted. It's just and I said I'm sorry, because I'm sure there are so many people who are not, but just these people who are so cold-hearted and don't even know how to connect to their humanity. It's like, how do you listen? If someone does something wrong and you want to call them out, fine. And even that, you want to do it in a way that it's helpful, that they learn from it, that they grow from it, not to tear them apart. And but they haven't done anything wrong. They just named their child.
That's it.
And they said, we don't want to be working royal. We'll step back. We will pay you the gifts that you gave us, the Frogmore House. That was a gift. We'll pay the whole thing, which they might not even live there for the foreseeable future. But they paid it off, which was supposed to be a gift. Eugenia doesn't pay, because they all have gifts and they don't pay. They didn't pay it back, but they paid it off.
The royal family, their responses when they first heard how hypocritical it was, because when the news came out about the birth of Lilibet, all of them, even the royal family even referred to her as Lilibet, not Lily. The royal family's website, where the Queen's website, the Queen's Twitter account, referred to her as Lilibet. Prince Charles's account referred to her as Lilibet. Prince William and Kate, they referred to her as Lily. If they had this huge problem with her, they were like, we are so delighted and all of those things. So was that like a lie?
Is it a lie, or they know that it's true that William did ask? Harry did ask.
Yeah, because they have this narrative that the Queen is angry, the Queen is upset, the Queen is all of these things.
Yeah,
and I'm like, so both can't be true. Is either they lied on their Twitter account, or they're like, you are lying.
Or you're lying. Yeah. I mean, if she's that mad, why would she even say Lilibet? She should have just said, my granddaughter.
Exactly. They're called like
my great granddaughter.
Yeah, exactly. But they referred to her as Lilibet, so it seemed like they were totally fine. But the idea again is that they will allow the press to beat up on her, and then would not clarify and would not make an official statement, is disgusting. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. And so that basically it's that. And we also wanted to talk about how
the Daily Mail is the one actually that came out with the story that they are going to abandon the don't explain, don't complain, and that they are not going to leave any mistruths out there.
Then the Queen was going to talk. The Queen was going to talk and clarify things. Is that one? Yeah. No, she wasn't going to say anything. That was.
The idea. The stupidity of that is like, okay, so if I want to. Abandon, the don't complain, don't explain, and I'm going to, make sure that no mistruths are out there.
Right.
Why would I put that in a tabloid,
In a
a lying
tabloid.
tabloid like the Daily Mail?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like that's all they do is lie.
They live in a fantasy. They live in a it's not even a real fantasy, it's a pseudo fantasy. And fantasy is supposed to be pseudo fake in the first place. But they live in a different stratosphere of fantasy, right? Which is like pseudo squared fantasy. And their reality is so morphed into something that it's so, Shakespearean, where they feel like they still have that, the courtiers have this power, and just they haven't moved from that time, that era. Their mentality is still in that era where they feel like, it was just so aggressive and so cold-blooded, and there's no compassion, and it's like
definitely. I mean, it's
just
all about their whole thing is they want to find a way to punish Meghan and Harry. So they have come up with all these different scenarios of how they could be punished for the crime of leaving and going off to live their whole life.
Yeah, for the crime of not wanting to be abused.
I know. The idea that like the royal family are going to now, no longer, leave mistruths out there. They're going to be addressing it or whatever. Meanwhile, how did that story come to the Daily Mail? These are the people that's going to be addressing mistruths.
Yeah.
And they're going to, the queen is going to be fighting back, which is all, I mean, I think they saw the queen with a sword, and then that's their imagery of fighting back.
Yeah.
And how did that story apparently come to the Daily Mail? Unnamed sources.
I'm tired of these unnamed sources.
How are you fighting back mistruths? How are you now not, addressing all of this? If the story is coming from unnamed sources, how do you fight back with an unnamed? Harry and Meghan are not hiding.
No.
Anything that Harry and Meghan says it is on camera, or they make an official statement, or it's coming through their lawyers with their names attached.
Exactly.
They are not hiding.
They're not hiding. So guess who's hiding?
You. Tell it to you straight.
Yeah.
The royal family has said nothing straight. They're not even making an official statement.
No, they're not. And you know what? All that said, it was today, again, I was on listening to Tina and Michelle's Sussex Squad podcast, and it was an amazing conversation today as well, as usual. And how, they just target Meghan. And this is a woman who the whole, you call them the inmates on the, on the island, the whole island, and an institution has been on for over 1,000 years. And a simple Black woman of color, has taken you on. It's not even taking, she doesn't even care. She's not even taking you on. She's minding her own business. You guys are coming after her, and she is winning without even fighting you guys. She is, when she needs to fight, she does with her proof. But you guys, because your stupidity is it's unfathomable. Like, you can't even take the time to take a deep breath and analyze what you're doing so you can even make the right strategy. You're led by emotions so much so that it's overtaken your common sense, that you can't even think, that you say the same thing several times and you're like, wait a minute, you expose yourself. But you said that, Meghan, she did not, when Meghan said that, they didn't want to give Archie, they want to change Harry the 6th or 5th or 6th or 4th.
George V convention.
Yeah, so Harry the 4th. Yeah, George V convention.
where when Prince Charles
becomes king. They will
automatically.
They wanted to change that for Archie and well, now we know Lily. And then it's like, no, Meghan is lying. She doesn't understand the that whole construct. She doesn't understand it. Now, look, it comes out in the Times or whatever, the Sun, that Charles is willing to stream down the monarchy and not give those kids. So here you are, and this is what I'm saying. They're not consistent even with their lies, right?
That's the thing with liars. Unless you're
not even consistent with your lies. You can't even make a bold stand with your life. Like, So, like, if I have to give you an advice, which I don't want to, but take a deep breath. Really sit down and think through your lie, because it's, even though the truth will still come out, it doesn't even take, it's a few weeks and then you expose yourself, you say something else, and it just defeats the first thing you said. You just said this. So then, and you're saying this now. So which one is it? You know, did it was Megan telling the truth, or were you lying then, or was she telling? You know what I mean? Like, which make a stand, have a stand in life. Stop being a flip flopper. Like, nobody likes flip floppers. Stop flip flopping.
Well, they're used to it because nobody challenged before Sussex Squad. Nobody challenged them on any of this.
No, yeah.
And I think that's why the royal family can get away with no comment.
Yeah.
Nobody challenges them. Nobody puts their foot to the fire and say, you know what, that is unacceptable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one does. And so they feel like they can get away with this nonsense because nobody really, I mean, other than really Sussex Squad, who do you see on, for example, say Twitter, that coming up with receipts from what they said in the past and what they say now? Nobody does. You know, British people are like, oh, they're just the tabloids, and they just leave them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who they're ruining. It doesn't matter what they do. It's like, oh, I can't believe the tabloids is doing this again. Yeah. But nobody challenges them. And it's so irritating.
Yeah.
You know? And so you see this thing happening over and over and over. And it's just like, well, and you can sit and complain about it, but what are you guys doing about it? Right. And then they will do is retweet the article.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're just paying their bills so that they can keep doing this over and over and over.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. So.
And so let's talk about Grenfell. The Grenfell Towers had their anniversary last week. And last week, I believe. And the only royal website, and we have to call it royal, but only Harry and Meghan Archewell Foundation mentioned it. Not the Queen, not Charles, not William, and Kate, who claimed they kind of like were empathetic to the whole situation.
They even went and visited.
They went and visited. Did not say a word about it to the anniversary of the Grenfell fire. Grenfell fire happened June 14, 2017. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, like 4 years ago, almost, yeah. And the only people within this royal family that mentioned it was the Archewell Foundation. Again, Meghan, with the Together, the community book, Together, the community cookbook that she wrote. I'm sure that's definitely was something that was on her mind, and and remembered and really brought it to light and mentioned on their website, on Archewell's website, which I think that it's a testament to the fact that she doesn't give up on her charities, right? When she does something, she keeps that relationship, and it's something that is on her mind. And I'm sure there are people who are probably reminding her, and because she's initiated, as listen, some things I need to know, anniversaries of this, I need to know and those things. She's just a team that keeps her up to date, and to really connect with her people. And it was so refreshing to have them do that. So I'm sure the Grenfell, community was probably like thinking, did anybody even remember?
What really inspired me was just Meghan's relationship with the women.
The women, at the hub.
Because also too, the funds from the cookbook helped to renovate the hub kitchen.
Yeah.
And so they had this cute new space and all of that thing. And it's not just a charity for Meghan. Yeah. Meghan have personal relationships with the women there.
Yeah.
And so how they remembered is like one of the women told her story.
Yeah. So Hero Dagnashu was the one who wrote a story on Archewell, and it was so touching. It was so touching that people have moved on. But you can tell she's still, even though she's moved on, she's still stuck there because there was questions in her mind. Do we even know how many people died in Grenfell? What the actual number? Like, do people even remember? Like, the families that were gone. She shared about that woman who's took her kids from school and came home, and then luckily, I think she was the one. She had her kids. Was she the one who shared that about her kids? She went and picked up her kids from school and brought them home, and they did their homework, spread them, and then the fire started.
Right. Yeah.
And so the memories of her kids, their memory, all they remember now is all that. And to get through that is a lot of therapy that those kids need to go through, including her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so glad that, Archewell highlighted that.
Yeah. And I think too, she talks about how her kids have changed, that they were these happy-go-lucky kids.
Yeah.
Now, one of her children, he hardly ever talks anymore. She talks about the friends that she lost. Like, she was walking one day and she saw this lady and she really thought it was her friend. And she's like, and then she remembered, oh, wait, no, it couldn't be her because
she's dead.
She's dead. And it's like PTSD. She has the trauma of it, and I'm so glad that they have the kitchen to be able to come and be able to be. And I think that's what resonates so much with Meghan, to be a part of them, because all of them have lost so much, and to know that the government isn't doing all that much to help you, no. And that's what's so infuriating about Prince Charles and Prince William, who actually visited the Grenfell, and they're just sort of like, it's just another thing they did. There's no continuation, no follow-up, no care. And that's the thing, that a woman who is not even from your country and who is now living a continent away could care. And apparently that's not even too far from Kensington Palace. You know what I mean? I don't live in England, so I don't know the mileage, but the fact that they couldn't care less.
Well, we should have our viewers, if anyone knows in the UK knows what the distance is between Grenfell and Kensington Palace.
Yeah.
Because when we post the video, just
Google it. Yeah.
Well, I want a call to action. So if you know that, just indicate that when we post it, let us know what you think, how far it is. We live in the UK.
But it just really shows the difference where, for Meghan, it's not a charity thing. It's like building a community, and
it's a human thing.
All of her organizations, you see them love tweeting and quote tweeting each other. Because what they do is build community, and so give each other, people to love.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's the big difference for me between Meghan and the rest of those in that family.
All right. Well, next one is our charity for the week.
Yes. So the charity we're going to look at today is Assistant League LA, and Meghan and Harry actually visited them a few times, and we have pictures of them where they're planting the garden with the little kids. Yeah. So this is like a really cool organization that have so many different programs that help homeless family and stuff. So and some of the programs that they have are they have programs for foster children, so like Foster Children's Resource Center. They have a preschool learning center. They have a Theaters for Children program. They have court referred volunteer center. They also have a scholarship program. So they have a whole bunch of things. And this is the organization, actually, this is one of the organizations that Meghan, with the bench, she and her publisher teamed up to donate thousands of books. So they donated it to libraries and different organizations. And this is one of the programs. This is one of the organizations that received some of the bench from her. Right. So this is an incredible organization that I think meets the needs, because they not only do that, but they also provide books and clothes and all of this stuff for families in need in LA. So, we do what we do. Look them up. Donate, find out more about the organizations, but they're really doing incredible things. And I think it's quite poignant that actually Meghan and Harry visited them a few times.
Exactly.
To help out.
And it might be around the time that she lost the baby too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so great too, because you think at those times you want to probably pull back and not be around kids, and instead they chose to give and to surround themselves. And as a person who taught kids and taught art to kids, there's no better way to, and maybe selfishly, but there's no better way to get out of yourself than be around kids and to learn how to give and love. Because you go there and your aim is to give them, but you get more from it. Receiving so much love from those kids, and so much acceptance with no criticisms, with no ulterior motive. They just love. And so I fully understand.
Well, they'll tell you what they think as well.
Yeah.
But all right. So yes. So on that note, well, we've come to an end to another episode. And so from Facts and Two Cents, Evelyn, Pedal. Until next time. Toodaloo.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.